everyone. Welcome to another virtual meeting for Chill and Chat with NAS. I'm Dave. Shane should be over there.
Hi, Dave.
James is probably up there somewhere, and I think Brad's that way. But anyway, welcome everyone. And obviously we're in lockdown here in Melbourne, so that's meant that getting together even for a 1.5 metre socially distanced type meeting is a little bit more challenging. So welcome guys, thanks for coming and spending some time burning up the kilobytes or the megabytes on the internet with us. I guess
I prefer gigabytes, Dave.
Or what was that?
I prefer gigabytes.
Gigabytes it would be, you're right. Maybe it's low res by the time it gets out to the world. Brad, you're looking good. You look like you've been in a tanning bed, mate. You've got quite the tan going on, and of course James is representing the Tigers over there somehow and Jeep and things like that. Do you own a Jeep? You probably don't own a Jeep. And Black Star, is it? This is James, brought to you by Black Star and Richmond Football Club. And,
that's right.
Yeah,
in my little hole.
Excellent. Well, it's good to see you guys almost face to face, and thanks for joining us again today. And I think we should probably start and talk about the elephant in the room, which is the fact that Victoria's sort of ended up in lockdown again, and that's annoying, but we understand why. And I think we should probably give everyone a bit of an update on what's happening with NAS in terms of how our operations are affected by that, and what that means for staff and all that sort of stuff. And so for that, I'll throw to Shane.
Thanks, Dave. So we're in a hard stage 4 lockdown, which is fairly much self-isolation lockdown here in the state of Victoria, certainly in Greater Melbourne. For NAS as a company, that means a few different things now. I guess as the state of play is different in different states and territories. So, thankfully New South Wales, Queensland, SA, WA, Tasmania, ACT, everybody's doing better than what it seems we are in Victoria. So they're still, seeing some increases in business, and things are ticking over and projects are continuing, which is great. Here in Vic, of course, things have slowed right down, even more than they were some weeks ago when we last shot our last Chill and Chat. As you pointed out, Dave, we're all working from home for the vast majority of us. I guess the good news for us at NAS is that we've still had no sort of layoffs or terminations. Thankfully, JobKeeper's keeping us all ticking over, which is a wonderful thing. And so we're very proud of the fact that we've still had no layoffs or terminations, and we're trying to keep everybody, very democratic approach, a little bit for everyone and not a lot for anyone. So, I guess is how the state of play is going. Having said that, we've had at least one person move on, and like to give a bit of a shout out to TK, to Thomas Kelly. Hey TK, who's moved on to other adventures, and wish him a very small modicum of luck with that one.
He'll be missed.
He will definitely be missed. So all the best to TK, and thanks for your years of service at NAS, mate. Appreciate it. Yep. For the rest of the company, in our main national supply chain warehouse, I guess, in Melbourne, here in Victoria, that's still operational. We've got very much a skeleton staff operation with a COVID-safe plan in place at HQ, Melbourne HQ, being the national supply chain and I guess supplying to some end user groups such as hospitals and defence, as we have done in the last 4 weeks in both those scenarios. We are considered to be able to continue to operate as an essential service, an essential supplier. Also because we operate in the capacity as a national supply chain. So things are still moving. It means that we're able to supply orders daily as people wish. If there's any requirements, certainly for the interstate customers that are still doing some decent levels of business, we're still able to supply. We've got a skeleton staff of internal sales and support and technical, the technical team. So things are still going. Other than that, it's business as unusual.
That's a good term, actually. I think business as unusual probably is very fitting for a lot of us. But yeah, it's good to see that things are still going on, and we're all doing the best given the current situation. It's certainly challenging, but it's not stopping everything. So that's at least a win, and we're all still here. So that's a good message.
100%.
Yeah.
So in regard, you mentioned supply chain, Shane. Brad, I think you might have some comments on the current situation, supply chain wise.
Yeah, look, I definitely do. And, to go along with what Shane has just been talking about, I guess as far as NAS is concerned, we still enjoy certain markets within the country who are still operating. There's still projects happening. In fact, Queensland and New South Wales are pushing pretty hard ahead as far as projects and installations and those sorts of things. So, it allows us to continue on with our supply chain, to support our customers and our partners. So our warehouse is still open with limited staff, but we are still open. We're shipping products out all day, every day. And it also allows us to receive supply from our vendors. It's really important that our supply chain coming in from overseas is still active, which it is. We still have our procurement department still heavily engaged on a daily basis with our vendors. So things, while they are not normal, we are still pushing ahead with supply and able to fill our customers' orders.
No, that's good. I know last time we all got together, we spoke about some of the ordering process, and in that, the idea was to put in more regular orders, getting more stock turning more frequently through, so that we're not waiting on large orders and therefore slowing down the process. I'm assuming that we're starting to see some of the benefits of that. In terms of stock flowing, it certainly seems like at least every time I've been there, it's been a hive of activity of gear coming in and out. So that hopefully means good things for stock levels.
Look, totally. It's actually also helped our some of our vendors as well, who are in a reduced state of capacity, whether it be manufacturing or office staff or what have you. The smaller orders, while I'm sure they want larger ones, have actually provided them with some relief to be able to supply us in a timely manner as well. And we are seeing all of that start to roll through. And, while we are while we are seeing smaller orders come in from our suppliers, they are more constant. It just allows us to stay dynamic with what we are able to offer. Also what the market perhaps might need at a certain point in time. And it helps us with our cash flow as well, which of course in a time like this, cash flow is king.
For sure.
So look, a lot of our supply recently has been from commercial vendors, things like Cloud and Ashley, Interim, our InDesign product, because essentially most of the projects we're seeing at this point are in a commercial install type of basis.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I guess Jim might fill us in a bit later on some of those projects and some.
I'll call you now. If you
no time like the present. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, James,
Better to do.
why not, James? What's been going on in what are you seeing as far as brands and products and things going out there?
Yeah, it's been interesting. The the net effect of a situation like this, as weird as it is, no one at least here has ever experienced anything like this. Means that you have to think on your feet pretty quickly, and certain brands, sort of rise to the top. They get some new uses, some new leases on life.
Yep.
And there's absolutely no exception for the commercial brands that we have within our portfolio. The pro audio brands, I guess, is an interesting side of things too, or pro brands in general. DMB Audio Technic and DB Technologies are both very typically, rental brands to some degree. 50% of what we do normally comes from the rental side of the industry, but that's obviously not happening at the moment. So to see the very quick shift of 100% of that business going into installs and commercial settings where we might typically have been looking at some traditional commercial product. Sales maintain. We're still doing quite okay with a number of those things. Nowhere near as good as we'd hoped, but given the setting, it's all moving along pretty well. The other side of things, I corrected myself to say pro rather than pro audio, because the other the visual side of our business is there as well. Brands like A2T and Unilumen, which we've been doing for a number of years. Again, A2T's been, especially now, there's still a lot of installations happening in the background. Not so much in Victoria immediately, but across the rest of the country and New Zealand, of course, this is a good opportunity for people to get in and complete those installs in corporate environments, education, etc. So, our touch screens and our commercial panels are moving very well. And on the LED side of things in Unilumen, we've seen, for some unknown reason that at least I don't know why, a huge spike in the amount of activity around LED installation. So from schools to some upmarket restaurants, theatres, there's been a huge amount of LED come through. Of course, it takes a long time to put stuff together, so it's been something to do while things may not necessarily be as busy as they usually are. The other side of things, which I thought was interesting, we touched on a little while ago, I think maybe on episode 2, was the remote, the move to remote events, where people are no longer able to come into contact with each other. And what came out of a number of our partners, our customers in the rental industry were the ability to broadcast events and weddings and concerts, everything. That sort of moved both here and in the States to a drive-in setting where in the US they had a huge take-up of drive-in worship, where churches would open their car parks up and they would let all the cars in, and they broadcast out the service to everybody sitting in their cars, as opposed to coming in, and the priest or pastor would stand out the front of the church, so everybody still had an opportunity to get along and do those things. That's very quickly been picked up in a number of different scenarios for us here. We've done drive-in theatre, drive-in cinema, and drive-in events like concerts and those sorts of things have all become very popular, and it's all done using Wi-Fi, Listen Everywhere's Wi-Fi product, which is broadcast out to everybody's smartphones, and then that goes straight into your car or your mini speaker, your headphones, whatever it happens to be, and it just gives people an opportunity to get back into a little bit of that sort of thing without while maintaining social distancing and all these other new phrases that we know.
Yep. No, that's good. I mean, it's good that we've got a few solutions like that and people are creatively using them. It's nice to see that people have got their thinking caps on, and of course we're here to help with that process as we go. That's great. I just got through with commissioning a little job at Government House for one of our installation clients, using D&B column speakers, which was an interesting thing because it's a heritage listed building, and obviously you can't put anything that looks like a speaker anywhere near the place, and it has a reverberation time of about 10 years. So something really focused and compact and neat. And we went in there and did a demo for them, and then eventually the system's now gone in, and we tuned it a couple of weeks ago before we got totally locked down. And really good results out there. And that was something that we did design-wise right through to the final commissioning, obviously after the installer had put it in, and with a good result. So I guess, we have the ability in-house to not only sell products, but to be able to help and get alongside our dealers with design work, and that that expands right across the range, everything, not just D&D, of course, but also into the LED or into commercial product. And so, you know, we're keen to get across that with all disciplines, I guess. So, you know, I think Brad for a long time sat in our projects office and saw some of the workings going on down there, and so he's quite aware of you know, that there's a bunch of people that are obviously now working remotely, but you know, across all of that stuff and there to help.
Definitely. You know, I guess NAS has been known for a very long time to be a performance-based supplier. And when I say performance, you know, a performance audio system, so a large scale, it could be a line array or you know, or a stadium system or something like that. But it is a reminder to our partners out there that we don't only just provide support and designs for those sorts of jobs. You know, we can do distributed audio, we can do, you know, hearing augmentation systems, audio over IP. We've got video products available as well. So, you know, we plead with you if you need the support with design or even just technical support or pre-sales support, there is always someone available at NAS within either the projects team. Your local reps are also knowledgeable. Reach out and we're here to help when we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an interesting point, Brad, because, you know, especially over this last period, I think a number of the you know, the product management and management staff have been involved in doing, you know, system designs on a very regular basis, and it's expanded out from doing where it might just be a back of house 100-volt system to the performance side of things, the visual side of things, and it's you know, it's the whole turnkey shooting match at this point in time. I know Shane and I have been working on a couple of things backwards and forwards, and you know, the question gets asked, you know, what are you doing for lead? And all of a sudden it just turns into this you know, much larger application scenario than what we were expecting in the first place. So you know, we're pretty proud to be able to offer most things to most of our database, you know.
It's an interesting point also when you consider it. I know for myself and you know, my business partners, you know, we always saw NAS when we started this beast, you know, as a commercial oriented company, a commercial audio and installation audio solutions provider. And of course, we very quickly morphed into a pro audio, as you pointed out, Brad. So, you know, a company that had a good profile and a good reputation as a high quality pro audio and performance based systems supplier and designer and you know, solutions provider, I guess, in that sense. But here we are in times of COVID. I guess we've seen that morph back again, even more so than perhaps ever. Yeah. And it's not just a picking up of the ball where commercial audio was for us. I think we've actually probably seen some increases in commercial audio and you know, installed solutions, integrated solutions systems. Particularly as you point out, now we've got, you know, access to the visual products, you know, over the last few years that we've never done previously. So the LED and the screens and so forth are great. You know, now we can provide solutions via the projects team for design, from applications through shopping centres and you know, evacuation systems, paging systems, you know, right through to screens and visual systems. And think of some of the projects we've been involved with across the screens, you know, from LED right through to the touch screens and the LED, you know, the commercial display screens as well. So we're in a good spot. We're able to provide some good solutions, assist with designs across all of those brands and those products, as you point out. And yeah, we've got the team sort of sitting back ready and waiting to help it where we can.
Yeah, no, there's quite a bit going on. You know, when I don't think anyone's sitting around with zero to do, but you know, it's in a good place where the workload's, you know, there for the design work, but there's still capacity, which is good. So, you know, happy to get on any of those projects to be of assistance with people as we can. Sure. Moving on, I actually totally messed up my notes, which everybody on this current forum understands, but I just completely missed the beginning of this where we were going to talk a little bit about personally what we've all been up to. So I figure, why not? We can either edit it later or we can just crack on now with it now.
All in the editing, Dave.
I was having a slight problem with my camera at the same time, so I was trying to fix things and going, yeah, keep talking. Because, we like to try and do this in one take, which is just, impossible. But we get pretty close. So, Brad, that way, right?
Yeah, that's right.
What have you been up to, man?
Look, it's still been fairly active at work, which is great. Our guys, especially in other states that are not in lockdown, are enjoying full-time work, most of them, and are still busy. But while I do have some downtime, I've actually started building a new shed. I was lucky enough. Yeah,
man cave.
Exactly. I was lucky enough to order the shed and have the concrete done just before the lockdown. And had the building surveyor come over and issue a permit and all those good fun red tape things. So I've spent a little bit of time kind of building the frame and putting the shed together, and yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to. A few cuts and scratches and bruises on the old hands, but that's okay. And just a little bit of mucking around in the studio as well. It's set up behind me.
Nice. And you got a nice view there.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
And just hanging out with the missus and the dog and all those good things. So, yeah.
No, that's great. James?
I am.
Hi, Shane. You're okay.
Sorry. No, I don't. I was just going to say, I actually got to a bit of a restaurant in between the lockdown before we went from lockdown stage 3 to lockdown stage 4. We had that tiny little window of space. We were semi-open for a couple of weeks or so.
What's it like? What's a restaurant like? I forgot.
Yeah.
Was the food bad? How was the service?
Tell me what you ate. Did you take photos?
They passed the food with a long stick.
They drop it in from above. It was interesting, actually. I went with a friend of mine, socially distanced, of course, and he was running late, so we had a window booking from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Just at like a casual burger bar type thing, and we arrived at 7:20, so we had 40 minutes to slam down a burger, fries, and about 3 or 4 beers each before we had to go home. It was a pretty short night, I got to say.
It's like eating at high speed. That's never fun. Yeah. What about you, James? What have you been up to?
Not a great deal, mate, to be honest. As Brad said, work's kind of continued on up until this point. So, realistically, I think Brad and I both escaped the office on Friday. It was our last day in the office, and so we've only been home a couple of days, and work hasn't stopped just yet. I've been getting outside and going for walks with the kids.
Hope not.
No, I don't think it will stop, Shane, don't worry.
Here's to work not stopping.
Yeah. What's in that glass?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for this inevitable slowdown that people talk about. It's all going to be doom and gloom, and I sit there and look at my inbox every morning and go, not today. Today's not the one. So
yeah,
it's with everything being locked up, the kids are out of kindy and daycare, so they're both home full time. My wife's home full time at the moment, so I've got a house full. So it's the weather's been nice the last few days, so I've managed to head out at midday for my government allocated walk.
Yep.
Which I wander around through the trees and come back again. So it's kind of situation normal as unnormal as that is right now.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the word normal bandied around so much as in the last few months?
New normal.
I'm done with it. I'm done with it.
Interested to see what this new normal looks like. I am also, sometime within the next 6 weeks, I'll also have a shed up. So it is time for shed building. So
I've been shed cleaning.
Yeah.
Because I have a reasonable sized shed, but I also have an enormous amount of stuff. Between various audio collections of stuff that I've amassed over the years and vehicles that I like to work on, it's hard to swing a cat. So, yes, lots of cleaning and lots of moving of stuff from one pile to another seems to be all I do at the moment. But obviously the work side of things is still there. You know, we're doing quite a bit in design work for people. I'm also working on videos for Midas at the moment, doing some stuff for the new console, which we'll hope to release soonish.
Is there a new console?
What new console?
Apparently, it's I have something that looks like a new console here, and we've been playing with it for a while. What's that?
I said I've heard rumours of this console.
Yes, yes, that they are rumours, and they are true. And it's actually getting very, very much to the pointy end, which is fun.
It is.
So,
it's getting very close. Yeah.
The development of it's been a really interesting process for me, and also Chris, who works with NAS. We've both been across that side of it, and it's really good to be able to get in there and try to break the consoles and try to get all the stuff done. But we're now at the point where we're starting to think about, okay, let's actually make some basic videos on the primary functions of it and all that sort of thing. So we had intended to be shooting them this week, but obviously he and I can't be in the same place. So we're doing a few things to sort of make that work between us. But yeah, bit of fun. So
have you heard of Zoom, Dave?
I don't know how to work it, man. Clearly by this, you know. So
I can always give you a bit of a hand, Dave.
Yeah. Touch me like that.
Well, that was creepy.
Yeah, that was awkward. No, it's good. Well, look, it's. I think for now we've probably chatted for long enough for this one. And look, thanks guys for coming along and letting us all know where we're at. Hopefully our customers have a little bit more insight into what we're doing and the fact that we're still here and we're doing things and actually things are going on okay. You know, it's strange times for sure, but we're getting there.
100%.
And we're here still. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to all of us. And Shane's dying to say something. No, he's not. Deer in the headlights.
For once in my life, I'm not dying to say
It just
anything.
looked like you were about to say something. I'm like, oh, quick, I better let him in.
Oh,
He's the boss.
I'm the boss of no one.
No, that's not true. All right, guys. Well, thanks for that. Let's leave it there, and we'll reconvene in a couple of weeks or so for the next instalment.
Yep. No
Cheers.
problems. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See you
See you
later.
guys.